Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jen and today I'm going to be bringing you my February TBR. Except I don't know what I want to read in February or at all. I feel a slump coming and I'm trying really hard to not, but we all know how hard that is. I've been focusing on a lot of different pieces of my life in January specifically. My TBR for January did not go as intended because first of all it was way too ambitious. But things got crazy, and I was focusing on different pieces of my life that took away from reading, which is fine, except I would rather be reading. So I've got a couple of things that I know I'm going to be reading. I've got a couple of readathons that I'm going to be participating in. And then from there, I think, I don't like to use the term mood reading because the last time I went into it going, I'm going to mood read, I didn't read at all. So let's not do that. So I am going to just talk about what I know I want to read, and then maybe we'll pick some things. Maybe we'll figure, I don't know. It's going to be, everything's a journey. And so we're going to go on a journey to figure out what I'm going to be reading in February. Maybe. I don't know. Let's just go. The few things that I do know I'm going to read are probably honestly enough to get me through the month, but guys, my hair is doing a thing. I'm not gonna fix it. In February, I do have like 4 books that I'm like, I want to read and probably will read, but like I'm anticipating being done relatively early. So like, I feel like there's space, and also it's February, so it's Valentine's Day, and I should be reading lots of romance, and it doesn't have enough of that on there. Nor does it have anything on here yet that I would actually be taking off my TBR rather than rereading. So we're gonna see where this goes. First on the list, but it's definitely not gonna be the first thing I read in February, and that is my reread of The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is the story of Fitz, who is the bastard son of the noble Prince Chivalry, raised in the shadow. I'm just reading from the back of this at this point because I don't remember much about this plot. Raised in the shadow of the court by his father's gruff stablesmen, he is treated as an outcast by all of the royalty except the devious King Shrewd, who has him secretly tutored in the art of the assassin. I enjoyed this a little bit. It's very slow. And I was actually about to unhaul this, but 2 things happened. The first was that Lianne from Literary Diversions announced that she was doing a Fitz-along reread of this series. And I said, well, I guess I should participate. And at the same time, 2 people from work actually were like talking about this, and they were like planning a little buddy read. So I decided that I was also going to include myself in that buddy read. So I will grab this on audio because I feel like this especially needs to be reread on audio. I think the fact that I'm kind of, I think I read this for, I want to say it was like Booktubers like 2 years ago, maybe. It's been a minute. I don't remember. But I think it was one of those instances where I read it because it was on a list that I put together and not necessarily because I wanted to. But I remember everyone sobbing over these books, and I would like to also sob. I like to be emotionally tortured by my literature. So I'm going to put this back on here. I have this entire, what's this called? The Farseer trilogy. I have the whole thing. It's right here. I was literally ready to unhaul all 3 of them, except then this came about. So we're going to give it another chance, and hopefully I enjoyed enough to at least complete this trilogy. But I know this whole world is a huge endeavor, so let's get past this first, is where I'm at. The next thing I'm going to reread, the weekend of the Super Bowl. So like last year, I did a whole vlog where I just read football romances leading up to the Super Bowl, and I did not find a lot of books that I actually enjoyed out of that vlog, and I know there are more out there, and a whole lot have come out since then, but I don't want to do that. So what I'm actually going to do is reread The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata the weekend of the Super Bowl. That is what I've decided I'm going to do. I have the audio. I think I finished this in like 2 days. This font is this is a big book, but the font is kind of big as well. I always forget their names. This is a football sports romance between Vanessa, who is the assistant of, what is his name? Aidan Graves, who is the Wall of Winnipeg, who is a Canadian playing American football. And she is his personal assistant, basically doing everything he needs. And he's not been the most easiest person to work with, so she's decided that she's done and she quits. Except a couple of days later, Aiden shows back up at her door, basically begging her to come back, and then also saying, hey, would you mind marrying me too? And then it just turns into, obviously, a romance. This is super slow burn. Fucking love this. I always say that it needs every single page in here to be the story that it is. So I am super excited to reread this. Maybe next year I'll read different football romances for the Super Bowl, but this year we're just going to go with something I know I'm going to enjoy. And that's this. The next book that I actually don't know anything about, and I'm not going to look anything up, is Done and Dusted okay, I'm going to look up who it's at least written by. Okay, it is by Lila Sage. Did I read that right? Hold on. Lila Sage, and this just looks I'm just looking at kind of like the genres that they have on Goodreads, and it says contemporary romance, western romance, sports romance. This I don't need to know anything. This is for my Peloton group's book club. We're gonna be reading this. We read 10,000 Doors of January in January, and then we're reading this in February, and I am determined to stick to a book club because I have never been able to keep up. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna read this book. I don't know if I've heard anything about it at all, honestly, and I don't know what the plot is. I don't know what the tropes are outside of those like very top level genre things. But I'm excited. I mean, I think it's a romance, so like I'm going to enjoy it. So hopefully I like it, because I was mixed about 10,000 Doors of January, so it was also not my type of book. But on to the next. The next two are probably books that a lot of people are going to be reading over the next few weeks, in February specifically. I am currently rereading House of Earth and Blood. I almost said that wrong before. House of Earth and Blood. And I will probably finish that today or tomorrow. This is the 29th of January. Probably finish that today or tomorrow. But what I will not have finished before February begins is my reread of House of Sky and Breath. I'm really bad at explaining what Crescent City is about, honestly, if you don't know, you're not going to read it. But Crescent City follows Bryce, who is a half-fae woman living in Crescent City, and 2 years after her best friend is murdered, she is called in to assist in a string of new murders that may be related to the previous murders. And she's also assigned a bodyguard in Hunt, who is the basically the governor, so the head of the government's assassin. But he is hired, or he is set to be her bodyguard. And there's just a lot going on. There's also that romance, which might be one of my favorite Sarah J. Maas romances. But that is what that book is about. Book 2 follows the rest is, honestly, except for the very, very end of this, I don't remember a single thing about this book. I remember sobbing through House of Earth and Blood. I don't even remember the specifics, but there's a part of House of Earth and Blood where I was hysterical. And then I don't remember anything of this except for the very end. And then House of Flame and Shadow comes out tomorrow, but I'm probably not going to get it until this weekend. So we are going to try very hard to finish House of Sky and Breath by the time House of Flame and Shadow shows up, and then read House of Flame and Shadow as fast as humanly possible so that I don't get spoiled. I did grab the audiobook. These books with just my eyeballs usually take me about 2 weeks to read because they're massive and I only have so much time. So these usually take me a really long time to read, and I don't want to necessarily spend that much time reading one book. So I grabbed the audiobook. I might try to do it a little bit of both, but I like having the audio so then like on like a Saturday or something I can just clean up while listening and maybe get through them a tad bit faster so that we can add more books to the TBR. So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4 books that I know I'm going to be reading. I didn't mention readathons. So in terms of like things I'm participating in, we've got Fits Along, we've got my NKO book club, and then I'm also going to be participating in, what is it called in this year? 72 Hours in the Book nope, Book Den, Book something, hosted by Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy, Mel from Melano Reads, and Lexi from Books with Lexi. I have not decided what my plan is for that weekend yet, but I think what I'm gonna do for a lot of that is read specifically on my Kindle. We all know that I have a goal to read more of the ebooks that I have, and I think I'm leaning towards the uncomfortable wheel. But picking whatever I go, I'm gonna try to pick things off of my ebooks that are available to me. So whether that is something I already have on KU, something I grab off KU, or just something I've been downloading, I feel like so much over the last probably year or so, and I don't ever get to them. So I'm gonna try to do it that way. That is at least the plan today. I may switch it up a little bit as we get closer. But I will be participating for that, and I am obviously not going to even make any kind of TBR. We're just going to see how it goes, and I'm really excited. I really love this readathon. It's one of my favorites, whether it's be Smut Den or Haunted House. I didn't do Haunted House, but I love Smut Den, and I just love the idea of taking 72 hours and just hanging out on the internet and reading books, because I have not been reading properly in the last probably 6 weeks, and I would like to get back to that. So that is a part of this plan. And then after that, I need, the problem is I need to pick something, even if I don't stick to it. Otherwise I will pick nothing, and I can't have that. I need to not. So let's, if I move you, I'm gonna lose my light, but let me try this. We've got the shelves back here. What am I in the mood for? Okay. I grabbed 5 books, and these are just the ones that at this very moment could be good. I think I have audio for most of these, which is also a plus when I'm trying to read a lot, or when things get busy. So the first thing I have on here is The Words by A. Jade. I am in the mood for emotional. I am in the mood for things that will hurt me, but put me together at the end. Like, please destroy, again, I think I've said this already once, destroy me in the middle, put me together at the end. Which I believe it says it's an enemies to lovers, but I think it's also second chances. Like, I think they were friends as kids. And then now they hate each other. So, hold on. He was a talented bad boy everyone wanted. I was the irrelevant geek everyone hated. He was the sun drawing us all in. I was a black hole taking up space. Ooh, I might read this now. He was destined to be a star. I was destined to remain an insignificant no one until he made me believe I was special. Then he destroyed me. I never thought I'd see Phoenix Walker again after he broke my heart, but fate had other plans. 1 tour, 8 weeks, 40 shows, countless opportunities to make him pay. The world thought he was good, but I knew the truth. Okay, so yes, I'm excited about this one again. Let's not spoil myself. But I believe I just got the audio for this. I am super, because it's kind of big. It's like 650 plus. But I'm in the mood for the emotional. So this is why I picked this one up. And we will, hopefully, there's a lot of stuff on here that I really, really like. So, very excited about that. I still have not finished Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent. I'm still 200 pages in. I'm still in, not even 190. And I'm still in the middle of a chapter. But February is also, I don't know if it's officially, not officially, but I don't know if there's the fantasy romance thing is still going on. But I feel like I need some fantasy romance. So I'm going to try to maybe finish this. I feel like if I actually sat down, this would not take me very long. The font is not too big. The pages are very tall, and there's not a lot of words on the page. So I just need to hunker down and get there without needing, hopefully, to start over. So this is going back on the TBR. This is going to be on the TBR until it comes off, because I need it done. I need it off. Also, in the fantasy romance realm, I grabbed Fortuna Sworn, which is, and I believe she is what they call a nightmare. It says her brother disappeared 2 years ago, leaving her with no family or species to speak of. She hides among humans, spending her days working at a bar and her nights searching for him. I want to read this right now too. The bleak pattern goes on until she catches the eye of a powerful fae. He makes no attempt to hide that he desires Fortuna, and in exchange for her, he offers something irresistible. Fortuna reluctantly leaves her safe existence behind to step into a world of creature and power. See, this is why you just pick up random books off your shelf and you decide that they're really good. Again, this is what happens also when you have so many books. You don't know what they have them about, and then you have to remember. I've also grabbed Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I actually own all 3 of these on audio now. I might try to binge them over, like, I don't know which weekend, but a weekend. I do have a long weekend in February. So I might try to do that. But if anything, I've been meaning to start this series for, I don't even know how long. When did this book actually publish? Because I think I bought it shortly after. 2019. This is probably I've had it for more than 2 years. So the lighting changed because my light went out. Anyway, I've had this book on my shelf for more than 2 years. I need to read this book. I've heard nothing but good things. This is a book now I want to read. This follows Chloe, who is a chronically ill computer geek with a goal, a plan, and a list. After almost dying, she comes up with 7 directives to help her get a life, and she's already completed the first, finally moving out of her family's house. She got a bunch of other things that she wants to do, and I think she does some of them with her handyman. I don't know. All I know is that these have been raved about, so I need to get to this. This is a book that should have read many years ago, and I haven't, and I need to do that. The last book I grabbed is another book that I've also bought, not reading anything else from this author, and not hearing a ton, but loving the premise. And I've also heard, I think some good things now, but again, I've owned this book. I think this actually didn't come out till last year, but when did this come out? Hold on. Oh, last year. Okay. So, but I feel like I've owned it for a long time, and because I think the author has had several other books, or about to have several other books come out. And that was The Nanny by Laura Ferguson. This is a single dad and a nanny who has an OnlyFans. And those are a lot of I love a single dad romance. I love a nanny romance. I love I find the OnlyFans bit of this a little interesting. I bought this on, I don't know, I just bought this on concept. I feel like I need to read it because I want to buy the other books from her, but I need to understand if I like this author before I go buy them. So this is on the list. See, it was a journey. When I started this video, I had 4 books on my TBR. Now I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see what I actually get read is unfortunately the biggest question, but I love having this list. I like this. I'm very excited about all the books that I have on here now. So there's that. I'm gonna have to like schedule all of my reading, but that's fine. I am trying really hard to focus on going back to focusing on reading. I really love the other things that I do in my life, and I want to still be part of that. What I don't want is it to be so consuming and to cut into my reading time all the time. This is a passion of mine that I enjoy. That is not necessarily what's been keeping me from making videos. That's just everything, and just the way that everything fell. I had the last 2 weekends not free. So I had today off. Took today off actually. And was like, we need to film. And so I'm going to try to film a couple more after this so that hopefully you have more content from me coming in some kind of cadence. But let's see. There's a lot of chunkers on here, so let's see if I can pick this one up, because I definitely couldn't pick up last month. Okay, so this is everything. I actually feel like as long as the Crescent City books don't take me more than a couple of days, this is actually really doable, and I'm really excited about it. So we'll see how it goes. If you've made it this far in this video, I appreciate you. Comment down below and let me know what you're reading in February, because I want to know. I do. Please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.